The lineage I belong to is a Toltec lineage, a parallel line to the better-known lineage of Castaneda and Don Juan. I'll tell you about some of the differences. This group of warriors had a strategy organized by Felipe Amezcua. He was the person who took charge of structuring my teaching, my apprenticeship within his group of warriors. He was a being of intent. He was like intent itself, and thus knew well what he was doing. I'm not here to talk about my apprenticeship, but about the way in which the teaching, its method, is established within my lineage. Basically, compared to Castaneda's lineage, nothing essentially changes in what is taught. There is a difference in method. A few centuries ago, as a consequence of some incidents, my lineage acknowledged the need to review the teaching methods. And so they ended up excluding all of those methods that required the use of energy from without the apprentice, or at least excluding them mostly. Therefore, they removed the use of power plants, the nagual's blow, etc. From that moment, the apprenticeship was founded on one essential point: rechanneling the energy that belongs to the beings that have to modify their existence. From then on, they obtained the movement of the assemblage point from within, almost entirely excluding any kind of movement induced from without. In order to obtain the movement from within, they resorted to a mix of stalking and intent, mainly stalking, which is the basis, core, center. Because stalking finally consists in the ability to channel the available energy, learning to hold the assemblage point position. Every time we succeed in holding the position, we gain access to a considerable quota of energy, which we can then use to place the assemblage point in an even more efficient position, from which we can gather more energy, and so on. This is an increase in the availability of energy, in the intensification of the attention to the point of getting enough energy for what a warrior must do. This is where my lineage differs substantially from Don Juan's. Above all, in the fact that every apprentice was explicitly and directly made aware, starting from their ordinary awareness of what the implication of the teaching and the rules of the game were. On the basis of this, every movement, every new conquered, acquired position becomes final. One does no longer suffer the effect of memory loss that takes place, for instance, when the nagual's blow is used, in which the new position is reached through somebody else's energy and then must be regained. In my lineage, it is conquered directly by starting here, from the ordinary position of the assemblage point, which becomes in time a non-ordinary position, although nothing apparently changes. When this happens, warriors enter the stalker's dream and do not live exactly in the world of their fellow men anymore. From that position of greater efficiency, of greater advantage, they can start doing all the maneuvers needed to evolve. The central point, the main result obtained by warriors, when they learn to do these maneuvers from within, when they realize about the possibility to voluntarily maneuver the assemblage point positions by solely recurring to their own energy, is that they become able to carry out a very special discipline of the sentiments. We can call it changing the sentiments. Warriors start changing their sentiments toward themselves, the world, and their fellow beings. And they do it for purely energetic purposes. There is no intent with an ethical character in this. Simply, at some point one realizes that it is convenient to be able to manage one's state at will, deciding what one is, what one feels, and what one is at that moment. This is the central core of stalking, and thus the central core of the whole nagualism. This incredible change in perspective, in possibilities takes place when we realize, admit that it is us who decide what goes through us, that there is nothing that can decide in our stead. Anything can happen to us. But our state, the condition of our awareness, the state of our attention and our intensity are decided by us. If we are unable to do it, it is only due to indolence, laziness. Letting oneself go is easy. We allow any power in the world to pull or push us here and there. And we state that if we are this way, it is the fault of this or that, of someone else, of something else. Warriors decide to take their existence in their hands and make what they want of it. Living, being alive, is not only a matter of existing, of getting up in the morning. It is a lot more, a voluntary act. In order to do this, we have to realize that we can totally modify our point of view. What we usually consider as moods, emotions, feelings, it is all energy channeled by a certain way of using the attention. This change in viewpoint is epoch-making in the life of a human being. It means that from that moment on, we can decide what to do of this energy that is being put into play now. If, as we have been taught, we stay pinned down to the flow of ordinary attention that coercively blocks us on that insignificant detail of the world, of our existence, of ourselves and of the others, we will end up, as we always do, consuming, throwing away the available energy that has been put into play at that moment. But if we are not afraid, if we are impersonal and abstract, we make abstract what is happening to us, and we go through it with the totality of ourselves, reabsorbing all that is happening into the body. Then we get access to an immediate availability of energy. We must not try to stop what we don't like, what bothers us, what we fear. We have to convert, rechannel it, make it abstract so that we can absorb it. I don't fear anything, so I will remember myself. This is the reason for that sentence. The meaning is that if we aren't afraid of ourselves, of the world, if we succeed in defeating our enemy number one, self-absorption, the feeling of self-importance, we become untouchable. All that goes through us is only energy. It is only intensity, becomes nourishment. There is no good or bad, nice or ugly. There's energy, and that has no personal traits.